Are you gonna be able to edit that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we didn't go straight into the intro.
Oh. Hi, and welcome to the Arts History Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Georgia.
And we're on episode 31 this week. And it's the first day of spring.
Yes.
So a happy day.
Equinox. I didn't realize that those were like the same thing. The first day of spring and the equinox.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't like connect that, and then last night I noticed like that the sunrise and sunset were like almost at the same, almost 12 hours apart, and turns out it's the equinox.
It's also like International Happiness Day.
Oh really?
Do you think there's a relation?
Maybe.
Like definitely in Canada, I feel like.
Yeah.
When they announce spring, we're all like out in our shorts and t-shirts. Yay,
Yeah.
finally, after being inside for a long time.
Yeah, like 6 months. It's so funny how, were we talking about this on the weekend? Like we can, in the fall, it starts to get cooler and we're like, oh my god, it's freezing. But the same temperature happens in the spring and we're like, it's so warm.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. It's funny how everyone around here, like, when it starts getting warmer, it's like instantly in a better mood. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're all just happy and excited and hopeful and looking forward to
Strangers are smiling at each other.
Summer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. I was talking to my parents today, and there's still snow in Aurelia.
Really?
But there's like no snow here.
No,
it's
none
awesome.
in Hamilton either. It's like summer there already.
Loving it.
Yeah, so cool news.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the weather.
Such a small talk subject.
Yeah.
But Canada, it's
I know,
deal.
like, when did talking about the weather get such a bad rap?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, is there ever anything that's like that crazy that it's worth? Like, the same thing happens, like,
It's one of those
all
things
year,
that's so
every
easy
year.
to bring up, but the conversation never goes anywhere, and it's never, like, beneficial. When I used to work at Sport Check, and I was, like, for the first, like, 2 weeks I worked there, I was supposed to be doing, like, a sales rep. Like, I was, like, their soft goods person. Mm-hmm. And I would always be like, so, what's the weather doing? Because, like, I suck at starting conversations with strangers. I don't know how to go up to people and be like, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Like, blah, blah, blah. I just be like, so, what's the weather like? Probably asked, like, 5 people within 10-minute span. I already knew what the weather was like.
Right.
But,
You're like, I could see it. It's right there.
yeah, I just didn't know what else to say. Anyways.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It is a conversation starter, though. But yeah, I don't know. It is just...
It's a random topic.
It is.
All right.
So, do you want to go or should I go?
Doesn't matter. I have 2 things to talk about. How many do you have?
Me too.
Okay. Okay. Well, the first is the discussion. So we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Have you heard about like the Marvin Gaye, Robin Thicke
Yes.
whole thing over blurred lines?
I haven't looked much into it, but I did hear about it. So why don't you?
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing about it a lot lately. I heard about it this morning, which kind of is why I wanted to talk about it today. On Jazz FM, which I was like, why is Jazz FM talking about this? But it doesn't really matter about the genre of music. I think it's just important for the music industry in general. So Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams were in this lawsuit with the Gaye family, like Marvin Gaye's children.
Is he not alive?
No. He died in like the 70s, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, like 75.
Okay.
He died really young.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I was thinking of Lionel Richie.
Yeah, Lionel Richie's still alive.
Yeah.
Where was I? They were in this lawsuit with his family because apparently the Gaye family thought that Blurred Lines sounded too similar to a Marvin Gaye song. The song that they were talking about was called Got to Give It Up. I probably have heard it, but I'm not familiar with it because I can't think of one that sounds like Blurred Lines. But they lost the lawsuit, so they have to pay the Gaye family $7.4 million. And both Pharrell Williams and Robin Thicke made over $7 million each on the song. So, I mean, they're still going to have lots of money in their pockets after all this. But the whole thing, the reason why everyone's kind of talking about it is because, like, a main part of creativity in, like, fine arts and, like, any type of arts comes from being inspired by what you see other people doing and creating. And so it's drawing, like, it's coming to the point where it's like, well, when do we draw the line? Like, I've seen works that look, or I hear a song that sounds just like something else, but they're not getting sued.
Right.
I mean, does it depend on the person, or... But, like, Pharrell Williams was just saying that, like, this is going to, like, handicap the business, because people are going to be afraid to draw ideas from something they've heard before for fear of being sued over it. So yeah, I thought it was interesting because it was something we could talk about, you coming from art and me coming from music. Because like I listen to the CBC a lot on the radio, and they have this one little segment that they play between things, and it's called Distant Cousins, and it's songs that sound like other songs, and people submit ones that they've heard that are similar, and they get featured, and they play like a couple seconds of each one, and you know, you can hear how similar some of them are, and it's like, wow, I can't believe that, like, they were able to rip that off. I mean, a lot of it, too, is, like, you do it subconsciously, because guaranteed some of the songs I've written are probably total rip-offs of something that's already out there, but, like, you just don't know. Like, you hear something in passing, and it gets planted in your head, and then when you go to spit it out, it's like, you feel like you've created it, but actually your mind just was a sponge one day, and... soaked up some info without you really knowing. So
in design, legally, I know that something has to be 30% different in order to be like okay. How exactly they determine what a visual thing, how a visual thing is 30% different from another thing, I'm not entirely sure. Like, but that means like it can be 2/3 the same. That's a lot, you know. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But definitely we're all like the sum of all of our experiences, right? So hopefully your experiences are coming together to create something that's new. Well, I think, and I've had discussions about this before, is like a lot of people saying there is nothing new, there's only doing new things to old things or combining things in a way that's new, you know? So,
especially in music, there's 12 notes that we get to play around with. Like, guaranteed something's gonna come again twice. Like, I had a thought when you were talking. The 30% thing. That's probably similar to in music. I don't know what the percentage would be, but I know like when they were in court for this, they brought like the sheet music for the Marvin Gaye song, and they went through it like almost mathematically and like looked at the chords and the movement and tried to figure out how it was similar to Blurred Lines. I guess they found enough to make it, you know, to call them out on copy and Marvin Gaye.
But I also kind of see it as karma for the content of the song, like the lyrics.
Yeah, I know. I didn't really like the song.
Yeah.
Was it 2013 or was it last year?
I don't know.
It was like the big one of the summer.
Yeah, it was like, it came out and it was so catchy and everyone loved it, and then people finally started listening to it and they're like, this is actually not okay. So I kind of see it as a little bit of a karma thing.
Yeah, that song's all about the beat. So if they did take the music from a Marvin Gaye song, well,
yeah,
Marvin Gaye was pretty awesome. So
it's true.
Do I have anything more to that? Yeah, I don't know. Final point, I guess. Well, it's not really a point, more of a question. Where does this leave us? It'll just be interesting to see how things play out. Let us know what you think on our Facebook page.
My first thing is also a legal story. I don't know if anyone has heard about this, but it popped up on my Twitter today, and then I was looking for news and stuff and found it again, so it's kind of a big deal. It turns out there's finally been a ruling on a case that's been ongoing since 2010. It is regarding 271 Picasso pieces.
I heard about that on the radio this morning.
Yeah, that have potentially been stolen by Picasso's Electrician. So yeah, there's like 180 lithographs, collages, and paintings, and then 91 drawings. And The Electrician, yeah, it's a lot. The Electrician and his wife have sort of slightly conflicting stories, but they're both saying, like, oh, Picasso was cleaning out his studio and he gave these to me. Or, oh, then I did this odd job around the house and Picasso's wife, Olga, was like, here, take these, you know? But in 2010, the Electrician and his wife they're both in their 70s now. They took this whole collection to the estate of Picasso, like his heirs in Paris, and that's when the legal stuff started happening.
Yeah, because like they went to get them appraised, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, why do you have these?
How
did you get these?
Yeah. So it's been ruled that they stole them and that they are getting a couple years jail time.
That's so sad. Like, what do you think?
I don't know. It's hard because when I read that they had conflicting stories, like the husband is like, well, he was clearing out his studio.
They're also 70.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
they could be
it's
forgetting
hard. It's really hard to say, and I wouldn't put it past artists to give artworks. Like, people are bartering all the time. That's sort of how artists do. So
I think they would have got their story straight before this all went out, though.
Exactly.
But I did hear extra that their sentence was being shortened because they didn't actually make any money off these works.
Exactly. They
never actually did anything with them.
They've been sitting in their house for like.
So wait, so these people are
years.
potentially getting jail time for committing a crime that they didn't even commit, for stealing an artwork that they're saying they were given.
Exactly.
Just because the family is saying, no, you obviously stole them. Like, Picasso wouldn't give away that much art.
Yeah.
He might give away 1 or 2 pieces, but not like 200.
Mm-hmm. But, so, I don't know. And then also, there is an inventory that was created. So that makes it a little bit more suspicious as well. Like, the husband, the electrician, claims that he's, like, not interested in art at all, and he just kept these in a box. He didn't really care about them because they weren't paintings, or they weren't, like, they were kind of sketches and stuff. And, yeah, he says he didn't really think about them, care about them, but at the same time, he created, like, this inventory of them, and he used a book about Picasso to sort of, like, place them chronologically and stuff like that. So the estate has lawyers, and the lawyers are kind of suggesting that these people kind of got roped into, like, an underground, like, art theft ring type thing, potentially, is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, they just held on to them. It's not like they made millions of dollars. Like, the heirs probably have millions of dollars, and maybe they really do believe that they stole them, but I kind of think it's just like a nice electrician.
Yeah. I know, that's what I thought. Caught my ear this morning when I was driving into work, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting story. Like, but why now? Why now is he going to get them appraised?
That's true.
Are they American? Where do they live?
France.
Oh, they live in France.
Yeah. They went to Paris to talk to the family of Picasso. So,
when did he die?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. I want to say in the 80s.
Okay.
I haven't studied him that closely. Also, it's starting to get really dark.
I noticed that. I should turn the light on.
Yeah. So yeah, that article was in the Guardian, so I'll link it below. I think they might have been the first to report on it. The first that I found, anyway. All the other articles seem to be linking back to them.
Guardian's UK, right?
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
Yeah. So I think they haven't officially been appraised, but it was somewhere around like, oh geez, I think it was like 20 million euros.
Holy frig!
Potentially for the entire collection.
How do they put a price on stuff like that?
Yeah.
I wish my sketches were worth that much.
Yeah, but rarely do they sell for that much before the artist is dead.
I know, a lot of it's like posthumous.
Mm-hmm.
Posthumous.
Yeah.
Maybe my lyrics, maybe my songwriting will go for like millions after I die.
Yeah. Or your Arts District podcast notes.
Oh yeah. The lost tapes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The old YouTube links.
Yep.
Okay,
let's turn on a light.
Okay, so that was pretty on the ball of us to both have kind of a lawsuit story to start with. We're connected. Okay, so here's another thing that we can talk about together. So I didn't end up doing that little blog post on Facebook that I said I was going to because I figured I would just save it for this week's podcast. For our Juno recap.
Yeah.
So we talked about what we saw on Friday with it being the art crawl and went to the Baltimore House. Saturday, the plans changed. We didn't go to the Casbah to see Devin Cuddy and the brothers Landreth. We went to the Baltimore House again, and we saw this band called Highs, who were good, and followed by
the Kitten.
No, it was a band from Quebec called Gasoline.
Right.
They were very interesting.
They were fun.
Yeah.
Definitely like a performance from the lead.
Yeah.
He was ripping
by
his
the
shirt
end
off.
of it,
His
shirt was like in
nothing.
shreds.
And he had these giant round sunglasses.
Yeah, the thing that confused me was he was ripping his shirt, but then by the end of it, he was trying to hold it all together and look all seductive. It's are you cold or are you regretting that you ripped your shirt?
He said he was cold.
Oh. Okay.
He also loudly was in his French accent, "It's Fruit of the Loom. I don't pay more than $5 for my t-shirt."
I didn't hear that. I just assumed that they were speaking in French every time because when microphones are muffled, I was okay, it's muffled and he's speaking French, so.
It was funny. So
yeah,
they were good.
Yeah, and then after them was Run with the Kittens. Member from Aurelia is in that band, so that was cool.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, they were super tight. Very interesting music. Kind of like a jam band, experimental. Not a lot of lyrics, but still very intriguing.
Really cool. I really liked them.
And after them was Rich O'Coin, who in my head I thought was an acoustic singer-songwriter kind of guy. I don't know why. And it was totally the opposite. He was standing on the speakers with a microphone while dance beats went on behind him, and he was singing and creating music over this. He had a white screen up and there was a video projected on it. It was interesting, but between the smoke machine and all the flashing lights and the people and just the thumping music, I got overwhelmed. I can't handle that. I felt like I was at a rave, and I remember being to a rave.
The streamer confetti bomb that went off as well.
And he asked them to shut the fog machine off, and I don't think they did.
It was really intense at that point.
Yeah, it has been going all night, but it just kind of never rose above a certain thing. And as soon as he started, it was all in my face. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I guess because they were using the strobe lights and stuff, they started turning it on more and stuff. But it got really intense. And,
so we stayed for half song.
Yeah,
and I was I can't stay here. I have to go. Such a baby when it comes to that stuff.
But we also saw some really great music in the afternoon.
Yes, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. That was one of my Juno highlights.
Yes.
We went to the New Vision United Church, I think it was, on Main Street. There was a 4:00 matinee show, or 3:00, starting with Tara Lightfoot, who we talked about in the podcast the week before. And so that was really cool to see her. That was the first time that we got to go see someone who we'd talked about in the podcast.
Yeah.
And she played great, and her band was great, and they played for a solid 45-50 minutes. Good rock and roll, gritty. It was really cool. I'm really glad we got to see her. And then the band that followed, I didn't know about before. They were nominated for a Juno. They were called the Bar Brothers from Montreal, and
such a gem of a band. I can't I enjoyed them so much.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and I asked her, I'm do you want to stay? And she's like, yeah, sure, we'll stay. And I'm okay. I didn't really care because I didn't know them.
Right.
So glad that we did. I was, riveted the whole time. They were so innovative. Every song, there was, something different going on, whether it was an instrument or, I don't know, just the way that they performed it. They had a guy playing an electric guitar with a violin bow.
Yeah,
and they had the main singer guy with his acoustic guitar. There was a string attached to his bottom string. I don't know if it was dental floss or something. And he would pull on it, and it would make a weird sound.
Yeah, They had a harpist.
He like soloed with it.
Sorry.
He was like moving his hands while pulling the string. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had like a full blown harp and harpist lady, and the drummer, and they had a stand up bass.
Yeah. They used one of those weird like tube noise makers.
Oh
that
yeah.
You, like, spin around.
You see like hockey games.
Yeah, and that added to it. It was so cool.
It was
and
very
also
ambient.
funny because he accidentally hit one of like the chairs at the altar behind him.
Yeah, it was really cool. What did I say? Musically, I called them like abstract folk rock because it was kind of folk rock, but there was like the elements that was different, was kind of abstract. Very ambient and, like I said before, innovative. They did a lot of things that I've never seen anybody else do. And their songs were really good too. There was one in particular, I wish I knew the name of it, and it was like the second song they played, and I was just like, wow, this is such a good song.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting that they were nominated for a Juno because the Barr brothers, the singer and the drummer, are actually American.
Oh. What?
Yeah, they moved to Montreal a couple of years ago and started the band. I guess they're, well, I don't know. Wikipedia says that they're still American. So I don't know if they're here on visas or what they're doing.
The rest of the band is Canadian or something?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they moved to Montreal and met everyone there.
That makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, I know. I was sad too. I'm like, damn. But
almost had a perfect thing.
yeah, they were nominated for the Adult Alternative Album of the Year, Band of the Year, or just Alternative.
Adult Alternative.
Yeah, but they didn't get it.
Too bad. They're so good.
Yeah, they were really good. Definitely a band that I wouldn't mind picking up their CD.
I've been listening to them.
Yeah?
On Groove Shark.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do they sound as good on recorded?
They sound pretty good.
Yeah.
And it just like, you know when you see a band live first and then you listen to their recordings and the recordings sound like probably better than if you just listen to their recordings. Like their recordings are good, but if you've seen them live, it's just
because you have it in your head, you can picture it. Yeah.
And even that space, like that church was gorgeous.
Oh, it sounded so good in there.
And not in like a stuffy way, like yeah, we sat up on the balcony. They had all these amazing like colorful stained glass windows. There was a huge organ behind everything. And
plus there's the fact that it was in the middle of the afternoon. Like it was like going to see a matinee movie. Like you get out and it's still light outside. So we went out for dinner. It was great. Yeah. It's nice to do things. And I wish more places had music like that going on in the afternoon because I would go out totally. Sometimes I don't like going out at nighttime. It seems like too much of a hassle.
Yeah. We need to start organizing that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Music sessions for people like us who are boring and don't like to go out at night.
It was also cheap because there was no bar, so like I didn't feel like I had to get a drink. I could just sit there and not have anything.
Yeah, people were like bringing in Tim Hortons and Starbucks. And
it was very relaxed,
really chill time.
It was great. No complaints.
Yeah.
So definitely a highlight for me there. The second one was the Songwriter Circle that I went to on the Sunday afternoon at Hamilton Place. It was held in the Great Hall.
Okay.
Great Theater. I think it's called the Great Hall. Nice theater. What a cool event, though. It started out, so there was 8 people involved. The whole thing was hosted by CBC's Tom Power, which was cool because I hear him on the radio all the time. Nice. I thought he was like 40. It turns out he's only like 27.
Huh.
Yeah. So he was the host, and they did it in 2 parts. So like the first one had Ian Thornley from Big Wreck, Jen Grant, Lights. No, was Lights in the second one? Yeah, no, Lights, and Ryan Goldemon and Jasmine from Mother. And it was a really cool, I'm forgetting my words today, like variety between them all because they're all very different. Ian Thornley is like rock, Jen Grant's kind of folky, Lights is like sugar bubblegum pop kind of, and Ryan and Jasmine from Mother kind of, well, Mother is like I've talked about them on the podcast before. They're a pop, but they're kind of weird pop. Yeah, so it was really cool. Really neat to hear those songs stripped down to just acoustic, and really good performances. They each got to play 2 songs, and it was cool, especially like for people like myself that write songs, to hear them talk about the song beforehand. And Tom Power would ask them questions about, you know, how they wrote it and how the song came to be, and it was a really cool experience. The second group had Emmanuel Zhao. Yeah, from, well, he lives in Canada now, but he's originally from, like, Sudan. No, you didn't see him. He played the first night of JunoFest at the Spice Factory, and CBC had it ranked as, like, their number one show to go see for JunoFest. Yeah, he kind of mixes, like, spoken word with, like, hip-hop, and he talks a lot about his history and past living in Sudan and, like, during the Civil War and stuff. So there was him, and then followed by him was Fred Penner. So that was very, the juxtaposition there was kind of neat. And then after Fred Penner was this country singer whose name I can't remember, but she was the same age as me, and I was just like, whoa, why can't I be sitting there? Her and Matt Anderson, who totally blew me away. I've heard a lot about him before because, you know, he does, like, the folk festival circuit a lot. He's a huge guy with a huge voice, and he was the only one who, after he sang, the people stood up in the crowd and cheered.
Wow. It
was very moving. He has such a good voice. One of those people that you just have to see live because, like, I had goosebumps. There was actually quite a few moments during that whole thing where I got, like, goosebumps and the chills, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. Like, this is what I love about music.
Nice.
So yeah, really, really neat. Great venue. Yeah, I loved it.
Cool.
Matt Anderson and Emmanuel Zhao were two of my favorites. Just because, especially Emmanuel, because he did something that nobody else was doing with just this story. Yeah, so check it out. I'm sure if you go on the Juno website or type in Junos on Google, you'll be able to see some more of what went on. But I had a great time. I wish it was in Hamilton every year.
Nice, yeah. Everything was really close together, and
yeah, it was very convenient.
Yeah.
It was nice having the wristband, just going around, not having to pay once you got into every bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish Hamilton had more festival things like that. I mean, it was handy that it was for the Juno, so everyone was there, but
right.
It'd be cool if for every single Juno, even if it wasn't Hamilton or not, they still did a music hop like that, but I guess there would be nobody in town.
Oh, true. But an opportunity for lots of other people to get out. Anyway. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I felt like last week we were kind of like, oh, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But we ended up having, like, such a good time.
It was totally
Saturday,
redeemed on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, definitely highly recommend. Yeah. So, shall we finish it off with my last thing?
Yes. The dance party's back on downstairs.
Yeah, it's been really loud today. Living here for like 6 more weeks.
Countdown's on.
It is, yeah. Yeah, so in my classes at school, instructors are always trying to see who's headed where and asking, like, who wants to do, like, book and magazine design, like editorial, or who wants to go into package, who wants to go into graphic design, who wants to do advertising, blah, blah, blah. There's lots of different avenues we can all take. But it's always kind of, and I'm like, I want to do everything.
Yeah.
It's also fun. But there are people who will be like, I want to do, like, magazines, editorial, and then the instructor's like, when was the last time you bought a magazine? And they're like, not in a long time.
Yeah.
So we have to support these things if we want them to stick around. And today I was out and I got a couple design magazines. Yay! So I
thought those were like your textbooks. They're hefty.
They're like quarterly, and so they're not. Yeah, this is March, April, and then this is spring 2015. So they're not like, they don't put this out every month. But yeah, a couple cool magazines to check out. This is Communication Arts. If you're into advertising or stuff like that, there's lots of good design. There's lots of articles about it, and
cool.
Like sometimes they'll talk about typefaces or all different kinds of things. And there's awards and lots of student work and stuff. So if you're looking to see like potential trends or anything like that, worth checking out. And I've had that one before and really enjoyed it.
It even feels nice.
I know, the production quality on these magazines is incredible. it's definitely not those like movie theater magazines.
Yeah.
They're like shoddy stapled. This one I've never noticed before, but I was reading in the editor's note at the beginning that they've sort of done a whole like overhaul and rebrand, and I think even like the physicality of it has changed, and like it's a hefty magazine and it feels really good. So this is called How, and again this is a graphic design, and there's also advertising and stuff. And this one, Miami to Milan, investigating the world's best graphic design. So sort of an international thing. And there's again awards. There was an award section in this. And what was really cool is that like tons of the awards are out of Toronto.
Oh yeah?
So I keep hearing my instructors say that Toronto is a big design city, a big advertising city, but to actually see it in an international magazine, how many
that's cool.
like awards Toronto firms are getting is really neat. So I guess I'm going to be sticking around in Toronto for a while. But yeah, I found this really cool is that because this is for graphic designers, it's got samples of stuff like
there's a little cardboard boxy thing.
Yeah, like they're advertising. This is our new
sustainable paper.
Sustainable like card for making boxes that are eco-friendly. And there's another one that's like, this is a new synthetic fiber paper that we want you to start using, or here's some new print technologies and stuff. So I've been really enjoying that.
Wow.
So what I'm getting at is not necessarily like these magazines, but if you like print media, it's such a unique thing, and it's sad that it's kind of going away because people aren't supporting it. So I know it's not awesome for trees, but if you like a physical thing, you have to go out and get the physical thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a like temporal thing, because not only is there a new issue like every quarter or every couple months or something, like as you flip through a magazine or a book, like that is a timed experience. It's almost like watching a movie, right? Like you start at the beginning and then you work your way towards the end, and there's something really nice about that.
Yeah.
That like web doesn't really have. It's not the same thing at all. So yeah. I'm going to digest these over the next few months.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool.
And funny, because for a work thing, I was kind of planning on doing a string art thing like this soon. So, I'm on point.
Very good. Just before we wrap up, I was just saying to Georgia before we started the podcast, Collective Arts Brewing, they are apparently asking for submissions for art for their new series, and they always have cool artwork things on their bottles.
Right.
I'm really not good at talking about this stuff.
No, it's okay. It's I didn't read the whole post, but yeah, it seems like labels for their new series, and it's the fifth series. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like those Jones sodas, because those are all photographs of people that people send in their photographs and stuff. So this is cool. I'm gonna look into that. I want to design labels.
Do it. So yeah, there you go. There's an opportunity, and that's all we have for you.
Yeah, episode 31.
We're getting closer and closer to 52.
Yeah, amazing. Remember sitting... Oh, we've reminisced the story so many times.
Was it July?
Yeah. I was like, I've always wanted to do a podcast. And Lauren was like, okay, me too. And then we did.
And now we're here.
Now we made 31.
Episode 31. And we're done. Okay. Have a good night. Bye.